In the heart of Texas, in a small town called Bumfuck Nowhere, population 420 and fallen, where everyone lives on sweet tea, brisket, and a stubborn refusal to acknowledge they're not still in 1985, a shiny blue sphere descended from the sky and crash-landed right in the middle of Main Street. When the smoke cleared, out popped a tall, lanky, greenish-blue alien with two fuzzy antennas on his head and eyes so big they looked like they'd stolen them from an IMAX theater. His name was Zorbax, but we'll just call him Zorbi, 'cause that's what his parole officer would have called him if he had one. Zorbi's pockets contained nothing but a glowing crystal, his universal translator, which had shattered during landing. Now he was stuck in America without knowing a single word of English. The first human he encountered was Old Man Cletus, a Texan who'd been riding his John Deere to the gas station for his morning beef jerky run. Zorbi enthusiastically held out both hands in a shake hands gesture. Cletus thought he was on drugs and yelled, "What in tarnation are you, boy?" before speeding off in his tractor. Zorbi figured this must be some kind of greeting, so he yelled back, "What in tarnation are you, boy?" and chased after him. Cletus's tractor broke down and they both tumbled into a ditch. Cletus wasn't hurt, just pissed. He handed Zorbi $1 and said, "Get lost, you weirdo." Zorbi took the coin, smiled, and thought, "These people are so generous giving me money." Slowly, Zorbi learned to survive. He collected dropped coins at the park in the morning, swiped half-eaten hot dogs from trash cans at noon, and slept on benches outside the Walmart at night. He stole clothes from a donation van, a sparkly pink tracksuit with "Juicy" written across the butt, and over it, a pair of cowboy boots someone had forgotten at the county fair. He looked like a disco ball had a baby with a rodeo clown. He tried to shake hands with everyone, and everyone screamed and ran. Once the cops showed up, but Zorbi put his hands together in prayer with such an innocent face that the officer laughed and left. Then one evening he made it to the town square, where 5 girls were standing around smoking vapes and holding White Claw cans. Zorbi walked right up to him, couldn't say a word, just pulled out $10 and handed them to the girl who looked the least likely to shank him. Her name was Madison, had pink hair, a nose ring, and talked so fast you'd think she was mainlining caffeine. Madison laughed and said, "Oh, you want something special, huh?" The other girl screamed, "Maddie, take him with you. He looks like an expensive escort." Madison took the money, shrugged, and said, "All right, come on, you weirdo." Zorbi jumped for joy, grabbed Madison's hand, and sat on a bench. Madison was wondering what would happen next, but Zorbi just sat there, holding her hand, eyes closed, antennas twitching slightly. For 6 hours. Full 6 hours. Madison got bored, then scared, then angry, then figured it might be performance art. She vaped, scrolled TikTok, texted friends, sitting with a crazy dude who won't let go of my hand. But Zorbi just silently absorbed all of Madison's words, sentences, curse words, childhood memories, southern slang, everything. At 11 p.m., he opened his eyes, let go of Madison's hand, and spoke his first English sentence in Madison's exact voice. Y'all a real hot mess, but a good one." Madison's jaw hit the floor. The next day, Zorbi started speaking English, but only Madison's English. That meant a thick Texan accent full of sarcasm, curse words, and phrases like "bless your heart" that meant the exact opposite. Instead of hello, he'd say, "Well, hey there, you old bat," and grin. Instead of thank you, he'd say, "God bless you, you dumb dog." People couldn't tell if he was insulting them or complimenting them. Madison tried to teach him proper English, but Zorbi just copied words and tones without meaning. One sentence had 10 different meanings depending on his tone. "You're a real idiot" could be affectionate, angry, or joking. He just copied the tone. The first disaster happened when he crashed a funeral. Someone's grandma had died and the church was full of black clothes and crying people. Zorbi thought it was a party because of all the cars parked outside. He wore his brightest outfit, a shiny blue suit, pink shirt, gold tie, and a party hat that said "Happy Birthday." He burst into the church and yelled, "Well, hey there, you dumbasses, having another party?" Then he hugged the deceased son and said, "Sorry for your loss, you poor sucker, but first let's grab a beer, all right?" People were shocked. Some were crying, some screaming. Zorbi didn't get it, started hugging everyone and said, "Crying's for losers, we should be dancing," and started doing the Texas two-step in the middle of the church. The pastor kicked him out, but outside he said, "That preacher's a real grump, can't take a joke." And all the mourners who had been crying burst out laughing. The grandson later said, "Never seen a funeral like that. Grandma would have loved it." Then he went to a wedding. This time he thought it was a sad occasion because Madison had told him people cry at weddings. She was joking. So Zorbi showed up in all black, black tie, black hat, looking like the world had ended. When the bride walked in, he burst into tears. "Oh no, it's all over now. Poor bride, now she's stuck with that dumbass." The groom got angry. Zorbi hugged him and said, "Chin up, groom. I once married a total idiot too." The whole crowd cracked up. The bride laughed and said, "He's staying. He's funnier than the DJ." Slowly, Zorbi became the town star. People started inviting him on purpose. At the county fair, he wore a miniskirt instead of cowboy boots and wrapped himself in a feather boa, then grabbed a beer mug and yelled, "1, 2, drink up, you Yankee," and clinked mugs with everyone. Once he interrupted the mayor mid-speech. "Well, hey there, Mr. Mayor, you talk like an old tractor." The whole hall erupted in applause. The mayor laughed and said, "The foreigner can stay." But the biggest mess happened when he was taken on a romantic date. Tiffany's friend Tiffany had a crush on Zorbi. Tiffany invited her to a fancy restaurant. Zorbi showed up in funeral clothes, looking miserable, and the moment Tiffany said, "I think you're cute," Zorbi started crying. "Oh, I'm so sad. I'm just a poor loser. Nobody likes me." Then hid under the table. Tiffany dragged him out, and he said, "I don't have money, but I can tickle you with my antennas," and actually tickled Tiffany's cheek with his antenna. The whole restaurant was laughing. Tiffany later said, "That was the weirdest but most memorable date of my life." Slowly, Zorbi realized people loved him because of his mistakes. He never wore the right clothes, never said the right things, but everywhere he went, happiness followed. One day, Madison asked him, "Zorbi, when are you going back to your planet?" Zorbi said sadly, "Oh man, I want to, but here I finally have people who like me, even though I'm a total idiot." Madison hugged him and said, "You're staying, you weird green sack." And that's how Zorbi became Bumfuck Nowhere's very own alien. People started calling him our Zorbi. Every county fair had a special table for him, every funeral he was invited to lighten the mood, and every wedding he'd bless with, "Hope you two idiots get along and have lots of kids so you have something to scream about." Because in America, a little craziness is real happiness. Zorbi was now the official village idiot of Bumfuck Nowhere, but the way American towns love their village idiots. People told him, "Zorbi, come here, you gotta celebrate with us." And he'd come running, always in the wrong clothes, always saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. But now the townspeople knew it was his innocence, not a disease. The mayor even gave him an official certificate of confusion that read, "For exceptional services in making people laugh during tough times." One day, the town held a big fair, a Christmas market. The whole town smelled of mulled wine, roasted nuts, and wooden decorations. Someone had told Zorbi, "Zorbi, you have to come as Santa." So he really did, but his version. He wore a red coat, but underneath shiny green leggings, a Viking helmet with Christmas lights on the horns instead of a Santa hat, and instead of a sack, an old Walmart plastic bag. He went to the kids and yelled, "Ho, ho, ho, you little snot-nosed brats! What do you want for Christmas, a spanking or a kiss?" The kids got scared at first, then started laughing. One kid said, "I want a PlayStation." Zorbi reached into his bag, pulled out a broken remote, and said, "Here, a PlayStation. Now you can play till your fingers turn black." Then he hugged the kid and accidentally stuck his antenna up the kid's nose. The kid screamed, the parents laughed. That day, Zorbi blessed all the kids. One got a broken toy, one got a half-eaten gingerbread cookie, one got a single sock. But everyone was happy. Then came New Year's Eve. The whole town was ready for fireworks. Someone told Zorbi that at midnight, everyone says Happy New Year and hugs. So at 11 p.m., he showed up at the main square, this time in all black, black hat, with white powder on his face, looking like a ghost. He had a big bell he'd stolen somewhere. When the clock struck 12, he started ringing the bell and yelled, "It's over! The old year is dead. Now comes the new one, hopefully not as stupid." Then ran around hugging everyone. People got scared at first, thinking the funeral guy was back. But when Zorbi started handing out beer bottles and yelled, "Drink up, you dogs, so you won't remember 2026, everyone laughed and danced with him. Amid the fireworks, he lay in the middle of the road and said, "Oh man, now I'm watching the fireworks from below, like a real Texan." That night, Bumfuck Nowhere had such a New Year's bash that the next day's headline was, "Green Alien Throws Best New Year's Party Ever." But the biggest comedy happened when Zorbi was first invited on TV, a local channel show called Texan for Beginners, where he was a guest. The host asked, "Zorbi, how do you like Texas?" Zorbi stood up, saluted, and said, "Oh man, this is a state where people still have proper beer mugs, and not like where I come from, where we drink from plates." Then he sang his special song that Madison had taught him. "I saw an angel. She wore a cowboy hat, and I thought, oh God, that's beautiful. But then I saw it wasn't an angel, it was just the bartender with a beer." The whole studio was clapping. The host asked, "Do you have a girlfriend?" Zorbi said sadly, "Nah, I only have Madison, but she says I'm too stupid a greenie and she only likes real men with proper cowboy boots." Madison, who was sitting backstage, was hiding her face and laughing. Slowly, Zorbi started getting movie offers. A Texas director said, "Zorbi, you're in my new movie, title The Idiot from Space." Zorbi was happy. On the first day of shooting, he was asked if he could read the script. He took the script, held it upside down, and said, "Oh man, this looks like a Walmart shopping list, but I'll do it from memory." The first scene, he goes to a Texas farmer's house and says, "Howdy, I'm the new intern from the unemployment office." But when the farmer's daughter opens the door, he kneels down and cries, "Yes, I've loved you since I saw you from space. I saw your cowboy hat on Google Mars." The whole crew was dying with laughter. The director said, "Cut, perfect, we're peeping that." Then one day, Zorbi really fell in love. A new girl had come to town named Jessica. Jessica was quiet, read books, and was a little weird like Zorbi. One day they met at the library. Zorbi saw her and didn't say anything for the first time. Just quietly sat next to her and held her hand, his old habit. Jessica wasn't scared. She smiled and asked, "What are you doing?" Zorbi said softly, I don't have words for it. Where I come from, when you like someone, you just hold their hand." Jessica laughed and squeezed his hand. From that day, they started hanging out. Zorbi still made mistakes, but Jessica lovingly corrected him. Once, Jessica got sick. Zorbi showed up at the hospital in a full Santa costume because he'd heard Santa makes sick kids feel better, and said, "My darling, I brought you a gift, a new heart, because yours is a little weak," and pulled out a big plastic heart he'd stolen from a Valentine's Day store. The nurses laughed, the doctor too. Jessica got better just from laughing. Finally, one day, Zorbi's spaceship was fixed. His crystal started going again. A flash appeared in the sky. Madison, Jessica, the whole town gathered. Everyone was sad. Zorbi hugged everyone and said, "Live well, you dumb earthlings. I'll miss you, even though you don't have proper gravity here and it's always so cold." Jessica was crying. Zorbi asked her, "Coming with?" Jessica laughed and shook her head. "Nah, I'm staying here. But you have to visit me, okay?" Zorbi promised. Then he gave his special Texan goodbye. "See ya, you Yankees, and don't forget, cheers to staying as stupid as me." And he flew off. Blue light in the sky. But the very next morning, another blue ball fell in the park. Out came Zorbi, this time in proper clothes, speaking proper English. But as soon as Madison asked, "Zorbi, you're back?" he fell back into his old habit and said, "Oh man, I couldn't stand it up there. They drink from plates up there, and nobody calls me you old idiot. I belong here with you dumb Texans." And that's how Zorbi stayed in bumfuck nowhere forever. Every county fair had his special table. Every Christmas he was Santa. Every New Year's he rang the bell. And every wedding he blessed with, "Hope you two idiots get along and have lots of kids so you have something to scream about." Because some aliens come to Earth to conquer the world, and some just to learn that true happiness is hidden in wrong clothes, wrong words, and lots of beer. Zorbi wasn't from here, but now he is. And we wouldn't have it any other way. Cheers, you greeny idiot. Cheers. It was summer in bumfuck nowhere. The county fair was still months away, so people were bored. Then the old mayor, Bob Johnson, retired after a heart attack. A new election was announced. 5 candidates, all more boring than watching paint dry. One was a bank manager who only said tax cuts. Another was from the Green Party who wanted to plant trees everywhere. And a third was an old Republican who just yelled, "Tradition, tradition." One evening at the bar, the idiot, Madison, Jessica, and friends were drinking beer. Everyone was complaining that there was no fun candidate. Then Zorbi, who was eating potato chips in the corner, suddenly stood up and said, "Oh man, if there are no fun ones, then I'll do it myself." Everyone laughed. Madison joked, "Yeah, go ahead, Zorbi for mayor." Everyone clinked mugs. Someone posted on Facebook, "Zorbi is running, finally a candidate with humor and antennas." By 10 a.m. the next day, 8,000 people had liked it. By noon, a fan page was created, Zorbi, because nothing else works. By evening, 200 volunteers had shown up at Zorbi's door. Someone printed t-shirts. Front said, "Zorbi 2026," and back, "I'm not a Yankee, I'm a greenie." Zorbi didn't understand what was happening. He just knew he had to shake hands with lots of people now. He made his election poster. Him in cowboy boots, holding a beer mug with the words below, "Vote for me, and there's free beer and no more idiots, except me." The first campaign speech was in the main square. The speaker was broken, so Zorbi climbed on a table and yelled, "Dear people of bumfuck nowhere, and Yankees who've gotten lost here, I'm Zorbi. I come from way up there." Points up, not from heaven, no, from even further. If you elect me, I promise you this. 1. Every Friday is a holiday because nobody wants to work anyway. 2. Beer only costs $5 because $12 is robbery, I tell you. 3. And if you don't vote for me, you don't get a kiss from me, just a spanking. People were clapping, throwing beer bottles in the air. And old grandma yelled, "Zorbi, I'll vote for you if you bring back my grandson who moved to New York." Zorbi took the mic and said, "No problem, Grandma. I'll send a tractor to New York. They don't have cowboy boots there. They'll come back voluntarily." The opposing candidates panicked. The bank manager held a press conference. The alien has no idea about finances. The next day, Zorbi stood outside the bank with a big piggy bank and said, "Finances? That's simple. When the register is full, we drink. When it's empty, we drink on credit. That's how Texas has worked for 1,000 years." The Green Party guy yelled, "The alien isn't even from Earth. How can he have citizenship?" Zorbi replied, "I have a Texas passport. It says birthplace, North Texas, just a little further north, way further north, near Mars," and showed his passport, which Madison had photoshopped. The last week of the campaign. In the polls, Zorbi was at 38%, while the other four together couldn't reach 62%. The Republican guy pulled out his last weapon. He invited Zorbi to a debate, a TV debate. All of Texas was watching. The first debate question, "Mr. Zorbi, how will you fix the budget?" Zorbi made a serious face, took a sip of beer, and said, "Simple. We don't have enough debt. We'll make more debt. Then we get more money from the federal government. Then we have more money for beer. Logical, right?" The host was speechless. The studio was applauding. Second question, "What will you do about climate change?" Zorbi wiggled his antennas and said, "I already talked to my people up there. We'll send a Texas winter to Australia, then it'll be cool here and warm there. Trade deal." People started laughing quietly. Last question, "Are you even human?" Zorbi took off his coat. Underneath was just a sparkly pink bodysuit, then said softly, "Nah, I'm not human. I'm better. I'm a Texan." And the whole studio stood up and applauded. The host fell over laughing. Election day. People were lining up for mourning. An old grandpa in a wheelchair came and said, "I've voted for 92 years, but today I'm voting with laughter for the first time." The results came in. Zorbi, 49.8%. The rest combined, 50.2%. But 300 votes were invalid because people had drawn hearts next to Zorbi's name, which technically wasn't valid. Second round, runoff. Only Zorbi and the Republican guy. Zorbi gave his final speech that evening. He climbed the square, this time in plain clothes, just a white shirt and cowboy boots. No jokes, no insults. He just said, "People, I'm not from here. I've only known you for a few months, but you took me in, even though I didn't say a single word right. You laughed with me when I was stupid and cried with me when I was stupid. I have no plan, no program, no idea. I only have you. And if you don't want me, then I'll go home. But if you want me, then I'll stay. And we'll be stupid together, but could." The whole square was silent. Then someone yelled, "Zorbi stays!" Then another, a third, the whole crowd, "Zorbi stays! Zorbi stays!" In the second round, Zorbi got 68% of the votes. He became bumfuck nowhere's newest, greenest, and craziest mayor. In his inauguration speech, he made only one promise. From today, no more ties in City Hall, only cowboy boots. And every Friday at noon is officially beer time. And if you don't drink, you have to clean the next day. And he gave his first official order. The city flag will be changed. Red, white, blue, and in the middle, a big green antenna heart. When a reporter asked, "Mayor Zorbi, what's your first big project?" he smiled and said, "We're building a beer fountain in the town square, and next to it, a statue of me spilling beer." And the whole crowd yelled together, "Cheers, you green idiot!" Zorbi had been mayor for only 3 months when his phone rang. The ringtone was "The Yellow Rose of Texas" mixed with space synth. On the other end was Ryan Seacrest's producer. "Hey Zorbi, we need an act for American Idol. America hasn't won anything since Kelly Clarkson. You're our last trump card." Zorbi took the phone from his ear, asked Madison, "What's this, American Idol?" Madison laughed. "Asshole competition with glitter, but with 200 million viewers." Zorbi's eyes lit up. 200 million people? That's more than all of Texas. I'm in. 3 weeks later, the national final in Houston. Zorbi's song was ready. Madison and Jessica had written it together. Title, "My Cowboy Boots Are Too Tight, and I Think That's Awesome." The lyrics went something like this. Verse 1. "I came from outer space to Houston, got a beer in my hand and a cowgirl spinning round me. Now I'm standing here on stage all alone, and my cowboy boots are squeezing like a vice." Chorus, "My cowboy boots are too tight, but I think that's awesome tonight. When the nitrogen canister pops, then I've got a boner in space. Too tight, cheers, cheers, ole. Texas is sending a greenie to American Idol madness. Hey!" Final night, Zorbi came on stage. Outfit, sparkly green cowboy boots that were really 3 sizes too small. Just a white shirt that said, "I love brisket," and an LED Viking helmet. Background dancers, 10 Texas boys, all in matching cowboy boots, but with Zorbi's idiots written on the back. The performance started. The first 30 seconds were normal. Then in the chorus, suddenly pyrotechnics, confetti, and 500 liters of foamy beer were dumped on stage. Zorbi jumped in the middle, rolling in foam, and yelled, "Drinking is international!" In the last chorus, he unbuttoned his cowboy boots, the crowd screamed, and he said, "Don't worry, there's another pair underneath, or maybe not." On live TV, 14 million people in America were watching. Twitter crashed. Hashtag "My Cowboy Boots Are Too Tight" was #1 trending worldwide. Zorbi won, 97% of the vote. In second place was some band whose song was "Save the Planet." Their fans tweeted, "We can save the planet tomorrow. Today, we're celebrating with Zorbi." Now preparing for the final in Los Angeles. The American delegation was panicking. "We can't let him perform like that. It's a scandal." Zorbi said, "Scandal? I'm a politician. We're used to it." Semi-final night. The whole world was watching. Zorbi entered the stage on a real tractor with a beer barrel attached to the back. The song started. By the third chorus, the whole arena was drowned in foam. The LA Fire Department had to be called. Zorbi took the mic and said, "Sorry folks, we Texans are just emotional." The jury gave 12 points just for originality. Public vote, America #1. Grand final. Now the twist. Madison and Jessica both came to LA. Both thought Zorbi would propose. Backstage drama before the performance.
Madison, if he asks me, I'll say yes. Jessica, nah, I was here first. Zorbi saw both of them and panicked. Then he went on stage, finished the song, and knelt down. The whole world held its breath. He took the mic and said, "Dear America, dear world, I have no ring, no roses, no plan. I only have a heart that beats in a green body. And that heart says, I don't love one, I love two that I love. Madison, Jessica, come here." Both ran on stage. Zorbi took both their hands, old habit, and said, "I have no idea how this works with you humans, but where I come from, you don't just marry one, you marry the whole village. So I'm not asking, will you marry me? I'm asking, do you want to stay crazy with me forever?" Camera zoomed in. Madison and Jessica looked at each other. Then they laughed. Both said together, "Yes, you stupid greenie." Then Zorbi hugged both, and the whole studio stood up and applauded. Scoreboard, America, 582 points. For the first time since 2010, America won. And with 582 points, a record. The next day's headlines: USA Today, Zorbi wins American Idol with threesome love and beer to tsunami. The National Enquirer, alien.
What I've written so far was just the setup. Now comes the real climax and grand finale, the very last chapter. No more sidetracks, straight to the end. Exactly 1 year after winning American Idol, Zorbi was now the world's most famous alien. Bumfuck Nowhere's population had doubled just from tourists. There was a movement to rename the town Zorbiville. The wedding date was set, July 26, right before the county fair, so all of Texas could celebrate 2 holidays at once. Wedding preparations were in full swing. The brides, 2, Madison and Jessica, both in white cowgirl dresses. The groom, Zorbi, for the first time in proper clothes, black cowboy boots, white shirt, green tie that said, "I have 2 angels." The venue, the whole town square, 50,000 people, live TV in 180 countries. But 3 days before the wedding, at 2 a.m., a black sphere descended from the sky. This time, not blue, but black. Out came 5 tall gray aliens, exactly like Zorbi, but without smiles. Their leader, Commander Zlorb. He looked at Zorbi and said in a cold voice, "Zorback 7, mission accomplished." Zorbi panicked. For the first time, his eyes got small. What mission? Zlorb showed a hologram. Earth Observation Report 2025. This planet is ripe for harvesting. Emotions, maximum. Laughter, maximum. Ready for takeover. You've prepared them. Now we're coming. Zorbi remembered. He was really a scout. His real mission was to make Earthlings so happy that his people could harvest their happiness energy. The beer, the laughter, the hugging, it was all his plan. He had forgotten, completely forgotten. Now Zlorb's army was ready to turn the whole Earth into a happiness farm. Zorbi had only 3 days. First day, he told Madison and Jessica everything. Neither cried. Madison said, "You stupid green sack, now let's fix this." Jessica said, "We're not letting you go." Second day, Zorbi gathered the whole town, 50,000 people. He took the mic and for the first time spoke proper English, without insults, without jokes. "People, I lied to you. I'm not just here to make you laugh.
I'm here so my people can take you away. But now I know you're not my harvest. You're my home. And I'm not letting you go. Never. Then he revealed his final plan. We'll do what a Texan always does. We'll drink so much that no energy is left. Third day, wedding day, and final battle day. 10 a.m., the wedding started. Zorbi married Madison and Jessica. The priest asked, "Do you?" Zorbi said, "Yes, damn it, yes." Instead of rings, the three put beer mugs on each other. The whole town yelled, "Kiss, kiss!" And the three kissed. Long, deep, real kiss. At that exact moment, a line of black ships appeared in the sky. Zlorb's voice echoed through the town. "Time's up, Zorback 7. The harvest begins." Zorbi took the mic and said for the last time, "People, now there's only one thing. We'll drink until we fall. We'll laugh so loud the stars can hear us. We're not your harvest. We're your idiots. And idiots don't just get taken away." And then began the world's biggest county fair, one that would never end. Every house, every street, every rooftop had beer. Every speaker played Zorbi's song, "My Cowboy Boots Are Too Tight" at 200 decibels. People were dancing, hugging, crying, laughing. Kids, old people, cops, priests, everyone. Zlorb's ships watched from above. His sensors blew. Emotional energy overload, system failure, too much happiness, too much love. The black ships retreated one by one. Zlorb's last voice came. "Zorback 7, you've betrayed us. For them?" Zorbi took the mic, hugged Madison and Jessica, and yelled, "Yes, for them, because they're the only ones who love a green idiot like me." Then he shattered his crystal forever. Now there was no way back. The black ships left. The sun rose. The town was out of beer, but no one was sad. Zorbi stood there between two wives, the whole town in front of him. Someone asked softly, "Zorbi, and now?" He smiled and said, for the last time in his old habit, "Oh man, now let's have a beer, or two, or until we pass out, because now we're finally home." And the whole town yelled together, "Cheers, you green idiot! Cheers!" The camera rises, bumfuck nowhere sky. A small blue flash appears and disappears. The screen reads, "Zorbi is not from here, but he has come home forever." Fade to white, and the last sound, the clinking of beer mugs. Cheers, cheers, cheers. The end.